Okay. It's been a while since we done one of these, but oh man, it's good to kind of be back with this. And what better way? I feel like it's been a few pay-per-views now. How long has it been? Survivor Series, I think. Has it been that long?
Nah, it was over the summer. I know that. SummerSlam?
Yeah, no, SummerSlam. I think that was the last one. I think we
Yeah.
done one as a joint one. I think it's been a while and whatnot, but it's been a few pay-per-views here and there now. But let's talk about Survivor Series. In a way, this probably won't be a really much of a long review because it's only 4 matches anyway. So we're gonna hit the important beats right here. But hey, we are back and Survivor Series. First off, let my co-host introduce himself for today's review.
All right, yep. Straight face 40. I'm back. And I really didn't enjoy the Survivor Series.
Oh yeah, I think we may have the same sentiment here. But yes, San Diego, California. Petco Stadium, basically where the San Diego Padres play. So yes, Survivor Series. Today we're gonna be jacking it in San Diego. Jacking it, jack. Whacking it, whack. Spanking it, smack. Jacking it, jacking for the Lord. Yep, we're jacking it here today in San Diego. I'm sure everybody understands that reference, but let's get into this show. 4 match card, and man, it's gonna be a lot to say about this, but let's kick it off with the women's war game match. Team Ripley versus Team Asuka, I would say, but on the team of Rhea Ripley, we have Charlotte, Alexa Bliss, AJ Lee making her first War Games appearance, and Io Shirai versus Team Asuka of Asuka, Kairi Sane, Nia Jax, Lash Legend, which very new after being called up from NXT first War Games match, and Becky Lynch. So where do I describe? I don't think this is really good, and I feel like we've had this conversation when it comes to like War Games matches or women's War Games matches. I feel like we had this about a couple years ago, back when they were in Chicago, when it comes to equity and equality, and whereas like, was this match really needed? And given the story, what was going on here, was this really much of a story to even go in the war? Because I think this was not really a great match. I know it was a lot of botches. I'm gonna let you. How about this? Let's let you. Like, how about you start off? What did you think of this first? This entire thing.
Man, thank you, Bryce. Actually, I wrote a few things down if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Uh, First, I flat out said there's no reason to have this match. The babyface hugged too fucking much throughout this whole feud. My goodness, Io Sky act like Rhea's little sister throughout the whole feud. I don't know if you noticed that, but I noticed that, bro. I don't understand. You know what I'm saying? Like you feel me, right? I don't know if you saw that throughout the whole feud, but EO acted like Rhea little sister throughout the whole feud. I don't know if you saw it, but it was just I don't know, man. It
I,
was too much for me. It was just too much for me. They were hugging too much all the damn time. I'm like, my goodness, man. Shit, do you gotta hug this for me every time you come to the ring with her?
I'll say this. I'll let you continue. I've heard a few things here and there. Some people bring up to me that it's a little bit of not saying no type of lesbian stuff or anything, but may see little things on the low. Not sure here or there, but not gonna think that all the way. But some people believe they've copied AEW in a way because just like Tony Storm and Mina Shirakawa, you got one show with an Australian and Japanese woman, so why not the other show have an Australian and Japanese woman be a team? Some believe that, but they do hug a lot, like they're the greatest friends in the world. We went from I respect you, EO, all the time. Now it's like they can't stop hugging all the time, like they're a team and stuff.
I was just like, man, I felt like Nia Jackson, last legend, like you were just saying about last year, she very new. I mean, this her very first main roster match. You
I
know what I'm
understand
saying?
why they put her last.
Yeah, and I was like, man, they were just thrown together just to be in this match. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand that. Like, They out of the clear blue, we gonna put them two together, and then we had them have a couple of tag team matches. Then we gonna put them in this war game match, which we never needed in the first place. I just gonna keep on saying that. It's I don't want to sound like at this part right here. I really hope everybody don't take it the wrong way. You know that little girl that Charlotte was had walked up to.
Yeah,
She got the gear made
the entrance.
inspired by. Yeah. Don't
Oh yeah,
don't
like the
get
graffiti art. Yeah, that's pretty cool gear.
don't get me wrong. I like the gear. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I was about to get at. What I was about to get at is it's a heartwarming moment. I understand that. Very heartwarming. But we about to go into a war game. I don't think we need heartwarming situations right before. And that could have been saved for a SmackDown or something. You know what I'm saying? Like a SmackDown or another pay per view that don't have this big old structure that designed to maim and hurt people. I don't know. It just was just seemed to me it was out of place. Like you, and I ain't saying you couldn't do it or you shouldn't do it. It could have been made for another show.
I'm gonna say this when it comes to this match with War Games, and I know you didn't really see blood and guts with AEW, but as
Right.
much as I talked about that, and yeah, I talked about a lot of ridiculous spots within that match. At least the women there dressed looked like they were ready to go into a fight and stuff.
Yeah. I
Now,
definitely agree with that. Right.
now, now
I
the
saw
whole
pictures.
now the whole bringing weapons to the ring all the time, that can be told for like a different story, but at least I can give AEW credit. They really were fitting the name of Blood and Guts if you saw the brutality that went on in that match and a lot of blood and whatnot. Like I said, I think there's a lot of spots that was very ridiculous and downright stupid, like the bed of nails thing and other stuff, but at least I can say I'll admit, I even say that match was better than what I saw here from War Games with WWE. Like the difference is that they have a cage that's open, and I'm gonna be honest, just going into this, like you look at this match, everybody's bringing a weapon to the ring, like a kendo stick or a chain or a chair. At this point, they just throw Io in the match so she can jump off the cage with a trash can on her head all the time. That's just common knowledge at this point. And Ripley, she's dressed like the Art the Clown dude, if you ever heard about those Terrifier movies, also. But I'm gonna be honest, this was a botch fest also within this match.
I would. Man, I'm definitely about to get into that. Like, do you feel like I'm gonna ask you a question about the war game advantage? Do you feel like the heel should have the advantage at every war game?
Like it makes sense because like the heels are the ones want to get the advantage to go over the faces. I know the faces here got the advantage in this match, for the women and whatnot. So I understand what you're saying, like, just to make the heels look strong going into the whole War Games match itself. Like the faces being a strong going, because like the faces still got beat up a lot throughout this match here too. But I kind of understand your point of where you're going with this. So it's like, yeah, the heel should usually get it, but it's like what Charlotte beat Asuka on SmackDown so they could get the advantage, and whatnot. So I get what you're saying, though. But I do
Hey,
feel like the heels should probably get the advantage all the time, but I guess they wanted to switch it up. Like, okay, the women gonna have the face ones, and then like guys, they gonna have like the heels be the advantage team, for later in the night and stuff.
Uh, yeah, I understand. You wanna do different things. I definitely understand that, Bryce. You want to do different things for two different matches. That's why you should have two matches, two of the same matches. I'm just saying. But
Well, hey, it's like we had that conversation a couple years ago when we talked about war games
uh-huh.
back in Chicago. What was it? Equality versus equity, which,
Hmm.
are we doing this match just because, or are we doing it for a real good reason? Because even both of these war game matches, the story is just not really there. And I'll say that about both. And like you said, going
Hmm.
into this, it feel like it just happened just to be happening and whatnot. Hell, even AJ, because I figured AJ was going to be in this match. Some people say, "Why is AJ in this match? We haven't seen her. She's had one match that was like a month and a half or two ago." But
Hmm.
it's got to continue the feud with Becky at the last second, so they got to continue this. And one thing I'll say, I'm sure people are gonna say like, well, nobody didn't bleed in this match. I didn't really expect anybody to bleed in this match.
I haven't seen blood in a minute. When the last time you really seen blood though in WWE?
Very little, and we'll get to it later on in the review because at least there was one person that bled in the War Games match later on. But here, and I think this is the thing with the War Games match, and I discussed this with you before too, because I talked about everybody bringing a weapon out within the match to fight each other. I think people look at it from, I guess, from like years ago with the War Games match compared to now, that the cage should be the weapon itself. You don't need to bring like chairs, chains, kendo sticks, or a bunch of wild, insane weapons out within the match. The cage should be the weapon. It's supposed to, keep everybody in the cage so nobody can get out of the cage and whatnot. But obviously they have an open roof on this one, so they get, like I said, they gotta have EO jump off the cage with a trash can on her head.
Yeah, I said something about that too. I was like, the EO trash can spot is getting. I mean, it been old. It haven't got. It's not getting old. It been old. You know what I'm saying? It's like how many times we gonna see the same woman do the same spot. And okay, she did a swanton bomb this time. Okay, it's like it's like man. Look, man, y'all not gonna be satisfied until somebody get their head busted by one of these trash cans coming out the cage. That's all I gotta say about that. Like, I don't want it to happen, but my goodness, you gonna stop doing this. It's not. It's just. It was exciting the first time. The second time, you were like, all right, cool. But the third time, it's like, my goodness, do something else.
She's been in every War Games match ever since they've made this.
Just for that spot, Bryce. Like
Yep.
you said, just for that spot.
Just for that spot. And it's like I say, it's just a common thing now at this point. What did you think about Lash in the match? Because notice you heard the whoop that trick chants throughout the match for obvious reasons.
Yeah, congratulations to the both of them.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
congrats to
saying?
them. Yeah, they got engaged. So yeah, good for them. Congrats to them.
Yeah. How do I feel? I can't really get on her too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, her first main roster match, her first main roster pay-per-view match, she feeling the butterflies. You could tell. You could look at her eyes when she would when she came to the ring. You could look like, man, she looked like, nervous. She looked nervous. And I could tell that she was very nervous. I can't really get on her too much. She did okay. And
Like I said, there's a reason why they sent her out
I
last.
last. You know what I'm saying? So they can start the match right then and there. So it could be a whole bunch of people. So it won't be focused on her. And that was good. Pacing, good pacing in the match. Whoever did that.
Eh, What do you think about AJ, being in this now since, we haven't seen her do anything since Palooza? Do you think this was better, or did you just kind of mask, some of, basically ring rust and whatnot, given it's like the second match she's had in over like 10 years?
Yeah, this is basically yeah, this is no doubt about it that this was masking her ring rust and trying to make sure that she get not be exposed, because it's a second match in 10 years. But what I would say is, eh, even though the match period should never happen, but I'm kind of with the fans on the internet with this because it was no point of putting her in that match. It was no point of putting Becky in that match. I think it's just because they was,
We need
uh,
stars.
yeah, we need the stars in this match, and you know, I guess they had to put her in there. And she took, she made, who she made submit. I forgot who she made.
Becky
She
for the
made,
second time now.
huh. So we know Becky go get her more ups one of these days because that's the second time that she made her tap.
Second time, yeah, that's true. And I do want to say this. I thought was kind of funny when they were trying to give EO the trash can, and AJ was so short. it looked like Ripley was helping a little kid boost up. Like, it's almost like you got to help your little brother boost up. He's like, I can't reach. I'll help you. Like, you got the big kid helping the little kid almost. Like she's too short. Help her up. Like we gotta put her on her head on the shoulder so I can lift her to get the trash can to EO. I thought that was pretty funny. And one thing about when it comes to these war game matches too, and I know some people have difference on this because yeah, remember the match doesn't start till everybody is in the ring, and some people gonna well, what do we just do for the past 40 minutes? Because it's like we spent 40 minutes of everybody fighting each other and probably doing spots here and there before the last 10 minutes once they close the door, then stuff
I I kind of
starts
said that
happening.
too. I ain't gonna lie to you, Brace. I kind of said something about that too. I said you could. What I say? Oh, you can ignore most of this match until until the match starts. I ain't mean to just you know take the mick out of it, but my goodness, you could have real talk. You could ignore this most of this match until they said, "Oh, War Games have finally started." Okay, then you can basically pay attention now because they didn't really do too much that made me say, "Dang, you need to really watch this match." This match was it was boring. It was pretty boring. I can't believe a War Games match was boring, but that
Some
they
believe this
did
was
it.
worse than last year. I remember the last year that one wasn't really good.
And
This
guess what? Guess what, Bryce? They gonna keep on getting worse and worse.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I missed the 5-on-5 Survivor Series matches. They need to bring instead of doing that shit on SmackDown. Let's bring back, the actual 5-on-5 teams again. I'm honest. I'd rather see Raw versus SmackDown again, like they used to, with the brand warfare stuff. Like that was still good a few years ago until they went a different direction then. But even doing War Games matches every year now, it's kind of getting. I don't know. I want to say it's getting played out all the way, but the way they went into it this time would either say the lack of story of not making sense about things or just doing it just because this was not good here. Okay, like I said earlier, there was a lot of botches, and we can name multiple people within this that was not really that good, and they got to some say it was convoluted choreographed spots. I've seen a lot of people say that, or what like. Yeah, that's the most I can really say is that because everybody in here mostly you could say botched in this. Like I don't whether it be Becky or the Fridge or anybody else. Like you know, this wasn't good.
Yeah, there wasn't. And this wasn't a good match. It didn't need to happen. Yeah, and I do agree, Bryce. I miss the 505. I remember they used to do stuff like before they did the SmackDown versus Raw thing. They used to like have both teams comprised of guys from both SmackDown and Raw who were like good guys and bad guys that had their own storylines. They had their own storylines against each other. But it was a reason why they teamed up with each other to go against these guys who they had beef with. It's like it felt cool, man. I ain't gonna lie. One of my favorite ones, even though it was a straight swash match, but one of my favorite ones was back in, I think it was '07. Correct me if I'm wrong. '07, you had DX, the Hardy Boys, the CM Punk. Was
I
that
remember
'07?
that.
Was that '07, Bryce?
I think so. I remember that match.
Yeah, versus rated RKO Mike Knox. Who else they had over
Who else
there?
was in that match? I know it was them. Was
Only reason
Morrison in?
why Only reason why I mentioned Mike Knox, remember that little spot with Shawn Michaels was like, man, who was that guy?
Who is that guy? I, another one someone was bringing up to me yesterday, like, it's still a funny clip. What was it, 2014 Survivor Series with Team Cena versus The Authority, and Triple H was hyping up Mark Henry, and he says, I'm gonna whip your ass, I'm gonna whip your ass, and then he just immediately got knocked out by Big Show in like 5 seconds. It was gone in the first few seconds of the match before Big Show had his 1,000 heel turn.
Was that the one that Sing
Yeah, that's the
came?
one.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I man, I miss that. And I think seeing Survivor Series, we seeing the War Games every year for Survivor Series did that to us. We wanted something different for a little while, and then we saw they came up with the war games to do it, and you were like, "All right, cool. That's what's up." Gave it a little spin when they first did it, but when they made it just like the Hell of the Cell pay per view, remember that? The Hell of the Cell pay per view where we just have to have a Hell of the Cell match because of the
Yeah.
sake of having a Hell of the Cell. That's how this feels now. You know what I'm saying? We gotta have a War Games match both for the men and women just for the sake of it because it's Survivor Series War Games and we gotta have it. And it's just like if you want to sell the War Game toy set, you don't need to have War Games every year just to sell that toy set. Damn it, you know what I'm saying?
Like it's like we got to do it every year now, even though if it doesn't make sense, we'll just start pushing this in the last 2 weeks and just throwing pieces. Like I said, for this whole show, we needed stars for these teams. That's the only way
hmm
people are gonna care about it. So, like I said, like that's the only reason going in for this whole show. But I don't think this match was, like I said, this wasn't really good though. This wasn't. But let's move on after
All
multiple
right.
commercials though. Which why are we doing this many ads and commercials on a pay-per-view? But hey, this is ESPN, folks. It's like it had to take a while till we got to the next match. Like I said, why are we doing commercials on pay-per-views? That's really dumb. But hey, ESPN for you. But next though, the Intercontinental Championship was on the line, and whew, there's gonna be a lot to say about this. John Cena versus Dominick Mysterio for the Intercontinental title. I know Dominick's still the AAA champion, by the way, too. I might as well mention that. I know Dom came out first. Now we're on his home turf now because it's San Diego. It was a long pause until Cena came out. Obviously, everybody did think entrances and stuff. And, Cena's got to have, the big, because like what? 100 pay-per-view wins now. And let's remember, this is John Cena's last pay-per-view match. This is
Yep.
his last pay-per-view match. And what do I have to say about all of this? Where do I begin? One, it took like what 6 or 7 people to beat John Cena. Number two, I'm sure the biggest thing because Cena's doing his whole thing out there and whatnot. Going to Dominic for some reason. I know they had Raquel and Roxanne, and I know a lot of people gonna say this. Why is Cena taking finishers from Roxanne and Raquel for like,
And
especially Roxanne? That just looked ridiculous.
I'll give you Roxanne. I definitely because I did put it in my notes. So, Bryson, I like this match was fun to watch, but the Cold Red was unbelievable, too unbelievable. That's what I did say. I definitely will give you that, Bryce. I will definitely agree. Um, Roxanne. I mean, not Roxanne. Raquel though. Raquel. I felt like it gave her a boost because she already a big woman, and we gonna have to. And remember, I said a while ago. Remember, I don't know. It was a while ago. It was our last pay per view, at SummerSlam that we were talking about. I was like, man, they need to treat Raquel like a big woman, a bigger woman, and saw her,
Like a
making
threat.
her, yeah, like a threat. I don't know. We could go back and I don't know, but I think I told you that before, and I like this gave it to her. You just gave her that boost. This gave her that gumption. Yeah, that's a big woman. You know what I'm saying? That's a big woman. You know what I'm saying? So I did see, I did like that, but the Roxanne though, Roxanne was too much. A slap, yeah, a kick, yeah. You know what I'm saying?
But like finishers
A
on
finisher,
Cena,
right?
like come
There we
on.
go.
Like
Come on.
I rolled my eyes, and I'll give the spot with the Hurricane Rana, with Dom kind of landing, kind of like Pentagon that got him hurt on Monday, and how they did that. Because I know the ref didn't put the X up, so I knew this was part of the spot. And then once he didn't put the X, that was pretty clever. But
And my favorite part too, with the referee kicked him out. That was my favorite. That's my favorite part.
that was good. But nah, like with the whole Roxanne thing, and I'm like, come on, man, John Cena could F you Roxanne like 20 feet into the damn crowd somewhere. Okay, like, dude, this girl ain't that big. She's not. Like, this is not. And I should say, oh well, Rey Mysterio. She is not Rey Mysterio. So
Mysterio,
don't
damn
try to
it!
pull that. It's like when people say Marco Stunt was the next Rey Mysterio. Like, she's not near that, but still, though, I'm just talking about like the whole size difference and stuff. And even I think it's somebody said it smart. Like, there was no reason to really do this spot because come on, Vince, even Vince wouldn't let this happen. You wouldn't have like your biggest star in the company. And listen, I know he's on his way out the door and everything, but you wouldn't have your biggest star of the company just get like damn near sell and take like finishers from women like that. You wouldn't see this with Hulk Hogan. You wouldn't see this with Stone Cold. You wouldn't see this with The Rock or any other type of like big name, especially Cena. Like I can kind of give you to an extent with Raquel, like I said, because she's a big woman. And I know Cena was trying to sell that shit out there, but The Rock, I just rolled my eyes. I'm like, what was the point of doing this spot? Like you said, if you want to go with the punch kick, and we'll get to the end with the nut shot and all that, but that looked ridiculous. And after that, like you said, when the referee kicked them out, then the match continued. And Cena, he's doing his 5 moves of doom, going for the FU, which it looks like everybody just kicks out of FU like it's nothing now after doing several of them. Hits the STFU then on him after that. Um, and stuff. The fans, they were chanting, "This is awesome." Cena ended up trying to go back for his shoulder block thing, takes down the ref. Finn Balor and JD McDonuts come out there at the end. Then they start attacking Cena right after. They try to get him with the moonsault and coup de grace, but Cena dodges it. Hits a double FU on both of them, then taking them down. Then Dom ended up going for the Intercontinental title, trying to hit Cena with it, but Cena ducked out of it, which it looked like some kid in the crowd told him, like, he's gonna hit you with the belt. Like, he was paying attention to the kid and he saw it coming. But then he hits him with another FU, calls for another referee. But then Liv Morgan finally returned. We haven't seen Liv Morgan in several months due to, I believe, a separated shoulder. And I had a debate with a few people on this because I felt like I figured what was going to happen here because Liv came out, slapped Dominic, even though it looked like she kind of missed that whole slap, and then turned around, looked at Cena, smiled, jumped up and hugged him, and then her expression changed, which I feel like it was going to be some type of, well, not double turn, but she's going to hit Dominic to get people to believe, and then hug Cena, then just end up turning on him, kicks him in the nuts, and Dom hits like another, like, they both, like, what, 619, and Liv hits Cena with the belt, Dom hits a frog splash, and wins back the Intercontinental title, which people even wondered to the point, like, what was the point of all of this anyways? Because, like, come on, we knew Cena wasn't gonna really hold his title that long, and I figured he was gonna lose it here. Some people feel like, and I do agree with this, it's like this is his second to last match, right? So he's got to win the final match, right? Because it's like now you gotta look at it, it's like even if somebody beats him in the final match, it's like what's the point? You beating the guy that just lost the last match and lost to Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental title. So a lot of people say, where's the stakes of in all this right now? I understand, like, well, hey, I got to be John Cena's final opponent and everything. But like going into this, did I think Cena was gonna win? Not really. I didn't, because like I go back a few weeks ago. Oh, Cena won in his hometown, so Dominic got to win in his hometown now. And it took 6 people to beat John Cena. He was protected here, but it took 6 people to beat him. Like this shit don't get me wrong. Like listen, when we get to that final match, we're gonna have a lot to say about this whole retirement run and how abysmal it's been. But this just
Are we
adds on
doing
to
that?
another part. Oh, we gonna review that final match.
All
We
right,
got to.
okay, okay.
It's gonna be too much to say about that. I don't even need to say that for end of the year review. And yeah, maybe we'll sprinkle some things in here and there, but that solely needs its own video.
Yeah.
Okay, so this right here, and then Dom and Liv celebrating. Cena just waves to the fans and just says goodbye and all that stuff. But your take on all of this, because this is just, it just got ridiculous, or some would say overbooked, but I'm not surprised Dominic won it back. But then again, it fits his whole heel gimmick and trying to be like Eddie, even with the boot spot, like Eddie Guerrero with the boot falling off of his foot at the last second in the match.
Oh, I, I ain't gonna lie to you. Going into this part of the match, I really didn't have too much to say about it until I really started really listening to how you broke it down. Yeah, and I do agree with some key spots. Of course, I agree with the Roxanne Red Cold Red. You didn't really need that pop rocks, my bad. Whatever you want to fucking call it. But you didn't need that. That was unnecessary. Raquel was good enough. Raquel was good enough. Roxanne could have been the person who did the first interference with the slap or something and interfered, and then the second interference with the spot where he hurt his shoulder. And then she could have did the Shakita bomb right there. Whatever she called. What she called that move? What's that
The
move?
Tejada bomb. It was the Chikanga bomb, but then they changed it to Hada bomb for some reason.
Oh, okay. And that would have been good enough. You know what I'm saying? That would have been good enough. But no, they have to have. Oh, we gotta have Raquel. I mean, Roxanne do it. You know. Um, like you said, it took a lot to beat John Cena, which you do want that because you really like it does still go along with Dominic and who Dominic is and what the character he's trying to portray as this chicken shit heel who wins by any means necessary type of wins, like whatever he needs to do. He needs to win how he needs to win. You know what I'm saying. But you could have took the Judgment Day out of it. Not the Judgment Day. The men part of the Judgment Day out of it. You know what I'm saying? JD didn't need to go out there. Finn didn't need to go out there. That was not necessary. Cut them out. You know what I'm saying? That was you could have cut those two out. Just had Raquel, Roxanne, and then Liv. That's
So
all.
it took women to beat up John Cena to help Dominic win.
And well, shit, man, it still goes along with with Dominic's character. She can shit healed by any means necessary. It doesn't matter who helps her win. He he's just
Well, yeah,
a
I could see if it
he.
was done a different way than like hidden finishers,
Yeah, there we
on.
go. That's why how I presented it. How I presented it. I think we should have did it like that. The a slap to for Roxanne, the finisher for Raquel, and then the dick kick by Liv. Shit, you get what I'm saying? Like you if you put it like that, it wouldn't look as bad as two finishers, but one by a small 80 pound. She ain't 80 pounds, but you get what I'm saying. She's just little. She little as hell. And John Cena could have flipped her ass with his one hand and JD, Finn, and then Liv. That was just too much. That was just too much. I know everybody probably thinking like, man, I probably said all three women, but they already had started off with the women. You know what I'm saying? It'll be too much to add Finn and JD, then Liv. That was just too much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because it was just kind of getting, well, it was getting ridiculous after a while. And you could say overbooking, like I say, it fits Dominic's whole gimmick and everything. It amazes me Judgment Day is still a thing at this point, but like I get where you're saying with it because like I said, when we saw the first match, nobody didn't come out and help Dominic. It's just this time now they did help him out there. Yeah, I do have to ask this question though. Do you think Cena should have held it all the way in the Saturday night's main event and then put over whoever was gonna win the title, whichever? I know everybody thinks it's Gunther, but then again, even if Gunther was the one to win, why would he need the Intercontinental title again? He had the longest Intercontinental title streak right now, so there'd be no point in that unless LA Knight wins this tournament. But it's just like it's the second to last match, and now it's like, well, damn, it's like whoever beats him, it's like, yeah, you beat him, but it's like, well, Dominic beat him for the title. So I don't know. Like it's a lot of it just doesn't make sense.
And John, I know everybody want to give John a pat on the back, talk about, oh man, he said he wanted to put over the mid carders and all that stuff. If he really wanted to do that, he could have just been there. He would have been did that. He would have never touched the world championship to become the number 17. He would have probably just took the Intercontinental Championship right off the back to become the Grand Slam, and then held it. If you really wanted to, but he
Honestly,
didn't.
I feel like he should have held the WWE title to the end. I still think that. I feel like they just gave him the Intercontinental title because he never became the Grand Slam champion. He got the title that eluded him his entire career. Some say they probably should have just waited till Survivor Series here to do it, but it's like, okay, we know, and like I said, it was like what, 2, 3 dates left at this point now with this, so we knew he wasn't gonna hold it that long, anyways. Should he probably have held it to the end? Maybe, but it just looked like they just kind of had to like, all right, let's just do this. Just give him the record and Grand Slam and all that stuff because he never been Intercontinental champion. So I think this could have been a different way, but hey, Triple H booking. What do you want me to say?
Yeah, that's all. And shit, that's all you have to say. Because here's the thing: this whole thing was botched. That's why this match didn't really feel like nothing. It didn't feel like anything to me. It felt like a match. You know what I'm saying? A match that he just moving through the motion. Like, all right, that's my second to last match. I'm about to drop the title back to Dominic. Then I'm about to wait until Saturday night main event to have my last match against whoever wins this random ass tournament. It's like it don't really feel like anything. But, when you look back at it, this gonna be one of the worst things. So everybody lists the worst things of 2025.
Yeah,
Everybody gonna have a worst of list, and this is gonna be the number one. John Cena, John Cena retirement run. Everybody gonna be like, man, this wasn't a good retirement run.
and it's one thing you had told me a couple weeks ago, even back what Madison Square Garden, like it didn't feel like you said it didn't feel like a saying goodbye to the fans and all that. It felt like we was just preparing for the next match and what the next pay-per-view for him, pushing the story and everything. That's what it didn't feel like he was like, hey, this is the last time. It's like, business as usual.
And now I did it. Remember, it was that 6-person tag match, and you know, I just didn't feel like it was like a big. And then you in Madison Square Garden. It should have felt as big as possible. I don't know. I don't know. It was just not good to me. This whole feud, I mean, not feud, this whole run, this whole retirement run, it just haven't been good. Um, let's get it over with at this point now. Like, whoever wins, who in the semifinals right now? You got Jay, LA Knight, Gunther, and
Solo.
that Solo. Like, like everybody thinking Gunther, and to get him to rub basically. And
But it's
I
almost like,
don't.
what's the point now? A lot of people said this is the final opponent. This is who we got. This is who we got, and like, what does Gunther really gain by this? Like, he's been champion, he's been world champion, he's had some of the longest streaks in this company and whatnot. So it's like, I guess it elevates him more just to say like, well, he was the last guy to beat Cena, but and he was the last guy to beat Goldberg and all that. So I guess I don't know, but like I said, when we get to that final match, it's going to be a lot to say just about this whole run and how bad it's been. So like this just kind of adds on another thing to it, which like I said, a lot of people wonder like, what was the point of doing this, knowing he was going to drop it like 2 weeks later in a rematch. In a rematch, that's all this really was. So I don't know, but I can't say this has not been good at all. So I'll say that. But let's move on to the next thing. No, I was zoned out at
Can
this
I
point.
can I say this before
Go
before
ahead.
you get into it? This is all yours, okay? Don't you give it to me because I ain't even watched this match. I skipped this match. This is all yours. Only thing I saw, only thing I saw because the internet was going crazy over how Nikki looked last night. Because remember, I didn't even get to see it the night of. I got to see it this morning. So when I looked on the internet, everybody was going crazy, like, "Oh my God, this is the best that Nikki Bella ever looked." I'm like, "Whoa, damn! Let me go see this."
I didn't hear
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I swear, all over the internet, I swear to you, these guys were going crazy. I had to see it. Like every picture, every time I was scrolling up on X or Facebook, it was one. It was like, damn, this girl, man, Nikki Bella. Woo. So I look, went to go look at all that stuff, and I'm like, don't get me wrong, she always looked good, but what was so different tonight? This wasn't really to knock my socks off. You know what I'm saying? So after
Yeah.
that, I just skipped the whole match. After that, I just went to see that part and skipped the whole match. I went straight to War Game. But
All
yeah,
right.
this is
Well,
all yours.
let me say this because it was Nikki Bella versus Stephanie Vaquer for the women's title. I'm just trying to count all the bullet points 'cause I know they had Nikki come out, which she didn't really get that big of a pop. Somebody said a fan was holding up what a "Marry Me Nikki" sign, and she just kind of looked at him with a dirty look and walked off. I saw people on the internet saying like, "Oh, you sure you want to try to bury at the last marriage?" I saw a lot of people bring that up, that whole story. So there's a reason why the internet wants to keep saying Cena dodged the bullet, but that's another time, no. But no, man, this match, nobody really, even in the introductions, we all knew who was gonna win. I think the crowd mostly reacted to Stephanie because she has the devil's kiss move and doing the ha ha ha, counting Booker T in
Oh
there.
man, yeah,
And
my favorite move.
I'll say this, man, when I looked at the match, it wasn't bad, but nobody really cares about Nikki Bella like that. I
Bella,
ever really thought
bingo.
she was gonna win. And I already had debate with other people yesterday saying like, "Why do I hate Nikki Bella? You don't give it a chance." Like, dude, I've never been a fan of the Bellas in general, and because we had this conversation yesterday. I laughed when they had Stephanie Vaquer say like, "You've paved the way," and a lot of people would laugh at that because it's like how the Bellas really paved the way. And I know some people bring up, I think we had this conversation about. I'll say this. Nikki was not bad in the ring towards the end. Okay, she's better than Brie by default. We know that as a fact. Some believe that Nikki was better than a lot of other women on the roster at the time when she was the champion and stuff.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I will definitely. You talk about at the time, like way before everybody else came. Way before the Sasha
Before we
Banks.
started before the Four Horsewomen.
I definitely agree. Definitely agree. Other than AJ Lee, she wasn't. AJ Lee was on the mountaintop on her own. Then it was Nikki Bella at the far second, like far second. Then everybody else,
And then they
because
said, go ahead,
I
cuz.
definitely. My bad. I'm so sorry, but I definitely agree with them on that. She was better than everybody else other than AJ.
Yeah, and I know people bring up Paige too. Was Paige really even that great at the
Oh yeah, yeah,
time?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, my bad. Dang, did I forget about Paige? Dang, oh, she was she was under AJ, above Nikki, but not that. Like you just said, like I think with Paige, it was her matches with AJ that really put her on that pedestal. Everybody really and that NXT run, I guess. After that, it was like you can't really you know, put Paige up there because it wasn't that not to I don't know. It's just you could put it with AJ a little bit, can you?
Yeah, I would. Some would think that. I can kind of agree. I know some say because Paige was new, because like she was new, but it's like Paige's run wasn't even really that long,
Yeah,
due to the
yeah.
whole neck injury thing and stuff, and just kind of was here and not here, and then the whole what was it, the whole Sasha kick thing that everybody kind of blamed her for the ending Paige's career at the time that was brought up. So I know a lot of people bring that up, and
I'm
during not go ahead with the before you what was gonna say about Paige.
not I ain't trying to say nothing bad about Paige. Like you said, that's what I was really trying to allude to, and I'm really glad that you kind of brought it up. Is her run? Her run wasn't long. No, I'm not saying that she wasn't a good wrestler or anything. I just needed to see more memorable matches coming from Paige, but we didn't get to see that, and so I that's what I really meant.
And I can't really think of memorable matches even when it comes to Nikki Bella either, because it's like the only other match I can probably remember was what against um Natalia at one point on SmackDown. I know people bring up the Rousey one from a few years ago, even though I kind of looked at it as a joke for obvious reasons and stuff. Because I don't think people really, I don't really look at the Bellas like it was like they was a top thing within this company, even though they kind of were. I just don't, because I know people bring up oh, well, the Total Divas stuff and their fan base. And, it was obviously it's a different era at that point before, we got way better women that were great in the ring and stuff. Like I said, I don't think Nikki Bella was bad in the ring like later on. She was better than Brie, obviously. It's just like it just gets up brought up to me like you hate Nikki Bella. I don't care. I always thought it was a joke when they was got into the Hall of Fame. I thought it was a joke. It's like when people even come at me right now, it's like, oh, I hate Mercedes Monet. It's like, no, I hate this gimmick most of it, mostly out of the time. Like that's the most thing, but that's a different story with the whole title stuff and everything. Never said she was bad in the ring. Can't say that. But you know, trying to get the words out right for this, but yeah, a lot of people just believe I don't give the Bellas really a chance, which I really don't, and I'm not gonna go into whatever they say on the internet because I'm sure everybody talked about whatever ridiculous stuff they may have said on the podcast, whatever they podcast and all that. But going into this, like I said, the only thing I can really remember out of this match was like I'll admit it was decent. I'll say I'll even go on a limb and say it was better than the damn War Games match with the women. I'll even go up on a limb and say that. But all I can remember was what Stephanie doing the devil's kiss onto the announce table, and then in the ring, and then she did a corkscrew moonsault and won the match. But the crowd was very dead for this. Nobody didn't care. Nobody believed Stephanie was, or either that or they were just burnt out after Cena. But nobody believed Nikki Bella was ever gonna win this. I don't even how much people even looked at Nikki Bella as a top contender like that, to win the title. Who really thought she was gonna beat Stephanie? Even if you look at it, and we talked about the storyline behind this, about the paving the way thing, and then later on, Nikki was just losing matches left and right until, she ended up snapping and turning on Stephanie, and it went to this match. Can I say I care that much when it was about this feud? Anything? Not really. I really didn't care. It's like one of those. It is what it is. But I didn't think the match was bad. It's just nobody cared. And if you look at the crowd, no one cared. Like whatever you said, people on the internet say like this is the best she looked or anything. Like yeah, she did look good. Like for obvious reasons, if you want to go by that too. But well, yeah, we know she looks good. Like we can't deny that. But
Right.
you know,
Right. I do agree with you though, Bryce. I definitely agree. Like nobody is like,
some look at this the
uh,
bathroom break match.
yeah, nobody really cared too much about it. Like, you heard the commentators. The commentators were trying their best, damn it, to try to make you understand why Nikki Bella snapped badly. Because at first, because before I skipped the match, I saw a little bit. When they rung the bell, she ran and hit her from the back, and and started beating her up. And they was like, "Oh yeah, she was so good day, America," and she was saying that's a brand new me. And so I'm like, "Oh, nobody gives two shits, though. Nobody cares. That's the part right there. Nobody cares." And like, I just, I that's the reason why I just skipped this match. And like, this, this was his Stephanie first defense or no?
On pay-per-view or just in general?
Her first, yeah, on pay-per-view.
Um, because she won the title back at Palooza. I think
And
it
then
is.
went, yeah, because after Palooza with Crown Jewel, right? And then that's when she went against Tiffany,
Yeah,
right?
that was for the blood money belt though, or
Yeah,
kangaroo
right,
belt, or whatever country. Australia. I was gonna say blood money because Saudi, but yeah, the title that you don't even defend. So
right.
yeah,
So
man, maybe it is the first title defense on pay-per-view. I guess. I guess so.
and this what we give her, right? Because we put everybody in that War Games match, basically. We put everybody in that War Games match to the point that it was only Nikki, you know. And they had no other choice but like, hey, okay, Nikki Bella, go for the title. And it just went bad. I mean, it wasn't. I ain't know. You say it was okay, right? You say it was
Yeah,
okay, Max.
it was okay enough. Like I just didn't care. I just did not
Right.
care. That's my whole thing about it. It's like Stephanie was gonna win. I don't know if they continue this. I'm just gonna assume this is a one-off and we move on to the next person. So it is what it is. That's all I can really say. It is what it is. But I didn't really care about this feud or anything going into this show. But let's move on though. I think it was kind of funny somebody brought up. I know they always talk about I guess some fans winning some seats and I guess what they had Roxanne there tell them. like you've been upgraded to, I guess, the front row, which is kind of funny because, like, say, kayfabe, I guess, either kayfabe is dead because what is she a heel early in the show? Now she's like giving
Right,
fans,
right.
we're gonna
Come
give
on
you
now.
some front row seats.
This
Now I'm the nice
heel,
person.
this heel gonna give you some front row seats. Come on, man.
So I think that was pretty funny when you really think about it. So it is kind of hilarious. But we do move on into the main event of the War Games match. So I guess you could say Team Roman versus Team Brock or Team Heyman. But basically, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, and the Usos versus Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul, and B&B Security, Breaker and Bronson Reed. We kicked the first two people off. One thing I will say about the War Games match, notice we didn't have the cage where we just put everybody in the cage. Notice how they got rid of that.
Yeah, they said they had a come from the back.
Really, because I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'll just come from the back. I was like, oh, they didn't put everybody in the cage like they did before. And it's funny about this War Games match. I think we said this yesterday or two. It's almost the same team from last year. The Bloodline and CM Punk versus whichever team. Only difference is Sami Zayn is in it and Cody Rhodes is. And we kicked the first two people off in this match with the world champion CM Punk. And everything, and everybody singing his theme song, and he's got his the Larry's dad jacket and stuff. And Braun Breaker was the first entrant for Team Heyman and stuff. Like I said, we saw them going at it within this match. I guess the heels had the advantage and everything. So the second entrant was Drew McIntyre. Both him and Breaker went after Punk, throwing him into like the cage and everything. Next was Cody Rhodes. Kind of interesting that both the WWE and the World Champion are the first two people in this match. Kind of makes you wonder in a way. And somebody told me like, well, Cody's like fourth tier and everything compared to a lot of other guys within this match. And we'll get to a little bit more about that later, but I did find it interesting that both the World and WWE Champion were the first two within this War Games match, and not towards the end. Very interesting. But Cody coming out for the help Punk. He's doing like his Cody cutter out there, and Punk is actually the only person to bleed in this match after being thrown into the cage and whatnot. Bleeding from his head. And as Cody took down, Breaker and McIntyre, Punk had, I guess he was trying to get up to get to Cody, and Cody, I guess, elbowed him back, which don't know if it was accident or not, which somebody said, like, Cody is slowly turning heel. Look at his gear. It had a little black in it this time. So, don't know if that was accidental or not. So, he knocked Punk down. And then we'll get to the most, and now we get to the most dangerous spot of the night, which you can tell Breaker was kind of discombobulated through a lot. He still continued, but he did kind of like he took some breaks throughout this when they did a doomsday device onto Breaker, and he landed straight on his neck. That looked bad.
Oh my
That was
goodness.
that
Yes.
was very, which they had to take the camera off of him for several minutes, and I think Punk even went to check to see if he was okay. But that could have went more horrible. Like he continued, but you notice he was kind of just walking around after a while until he could kind of somewhat get himself back together. But that was bad. That was very dangerous. Um, Number three was Logan Paul was next out there. He brought chairs in the ring, and he's hitting people with chairs out there. And well, like I think him and McIntyre did a double suplex on Punk. Three for the face team was Jimmy Uso. Uso came out there, of course, like in super kicks, and Breaker kind of got back in the match after a while, even hitting a Frankensteiner onto Punk. But like I say, he was just kind of walking around hitting people with a chair. But yeah, Jimmy starts hitting his moves on everybody right after that. Um, what else? Fourth was Bronson Reed. He starts hitting multiple tsunami splashes on everybody as soon as he gets into the ring. It's a good thing he didn't do it off the top of the cage because he may have broken his ankles again like last year. But best smart now smart he did not do that again this year. But after he did that, four was Jey Uso, who basically yeeted to the ring and he super kicked everybody in this match. And the Usos end up doing double super kicks on everybody and hit a 1D on Logan. And then midway through this match, he had to run it back so we can do his entrance again.
Oh my goodness.
You
I
didn't
did
see
not
that
see
part.
that. No, my
No,
God.
he yeeted to the ring. He did his moves, and then midway through this, he went to the top of the cage and just like, we gonna run it back, and they started eating again and turned the music back on.
Man, in the middle of a War Games match.
And yeah, and everybody
Come
just
on,
doing the
man. This
yeet,
is
and
getting
Punk's playing the air
ridiculous now.
guitar with a chair. So yeah, we yeeted through again midway in this match until Brock's music hit.
What is this, a house show? Come on, man. Like, seriously. This is ridiculous now at this point. Like, oh my
I already
goodness.
thought it was ridiculous when he beat Rusev on SmackDown, but some say shouldn't be surprised by this. I'm like
I
Steven when he
mean,
told me, he was like, "Hey man, he didn't want to
he,
lose nobody in AEW, but I'm glad he lose it for Triple H."
I mean, he just lost to the a former world champion. Now, I'll give y'all that. And nah, I can't get anybody that is. He lost to the former world champion. I knew he wasn't gonna win that match. I just wanted Rusev to win. I like Rusev should win.
But he
But
wasn't
I
gonna
had a
win.
feeling. I knew he wasn't gonna win because that was Jey Uso. He one of the most over guys in the
Sells
company right now.
merch. Sells merch. But yeah,
So
we
yeah.
we yeeted midway through the match. That's what happened. They had to run it back. And then as he's yeeting, Brock Lesnar was the final one to come out then for the heels with Heyman. Brock did not slip this time, folks. He did not slip. So that was still hilarious. Do a barrel roll. He did recover nicely, but that was still funny though. One thing somebody noted on commentary is that Brock Lesnar hasn't had a teammate since 2004 in any type of tag match or any type of team, really. It's just Brock always going in on his own. And some people look at the story, they keep talking about can the faces coexist and everything. Hell, can Brock really coexist with these people knowing he hasn't teamed with anybody in over 20 years? Kind of makes you think about that. We talk about the faces. Can they coexist? Can they even get along? Can they band together? Because we gotta do that whole story. And Brock just comes in and just takes everyone to Suplex City, throwing them all over the place. F5 on the Usos, Punk, Cody, and everything, and even picked up a chair and started some more suplexes. So Brock is just basically a one-man army. Some people think this team was already OP as it is with Heyman and them. You got Brock, you got McIntyre and Logan Paul and Braun and Bronson Reed. So they already thought this was overkill. And even with once Brock just destroyed everybody, he even left the cage and waited for Roman to come out, which even some people said this is where the match actually really mattered then because it was Roman and Brock. Yeah, it's for the 100th time, but they said they were like the biggest stars out there of everybody in this entire match was Roman. Because here's the thing. How come the WWE champion or the world champion weren't the final entrant in? And Roman, because they said Roman's bigger than everybody. Because even me and somebody was debating yesterday, like how come people aren't digging Cody like that? Like they still dig Cody, but are they really digging him like that anymore? Or is this another one of these things? Once you get to the top, the people start turning on you and stuff. So it makes you wonder about Cody Rhodes, or does he have to turn heel? Like we kind of talked about this before.
Who are we turning heel for? Are we turning heel for the guys who out there in the crowd, or are we turning heel for the guys who are just talking on the internet? Like, who are we turning heel for at this point in time? Cause I I I I can go back. I always go back to this. Like every time we talk about Cody Rhodes and his his popularity and everything like that. Yeah, we might need it in the long run. It's soon enough. But he kind of in the John Cena position back with back in when he would where everybody wanted him to turn heel, and but everybody was. But here's the thing: John Cena was getting booed. Cody not.
I think it's slowly starting to happen, or some are gonna say like, well, Roman's a bigger star than him. Hell, Punk's a bigger star than him. So some people feel like he doesn't really fit almost like the mold of things sometimes. Or it's like I think I brought this up before. I don't know, just like a debate in that, but so I say we need to start questioning about putting world championships on mid card talent.
John Cena was getting booed. That nigga was it was literal boos. It wasn't no cheers. The nigga was getting booed. And they kept on pushing like, fuck it, we gonna keep on making him a face. But he was literally getting booed.
Oh yeah, Cena was getting booed out the building. Yeah, Cody, it looked like it may be starting to start.
What? But did you hear it?
Not much, little bit, but not all the time.
I haven't heard any of it. I hear a lot of cheering. I hear
They
cheers as
still
soon as
sing the
they
theme
hear.
song. They still sing it, his theme song.
I haven't heard any boos though. That's what I'm saying. Other than him going against John Cena, that the feud with him and John Cena. Other than that, I haven't heard any
I felt
boos.
Drew should have won the title.
I know. I felt the same way. I felt the same way, but I don't feel like his popularity is waning. Only reason I felt that he Drew needed to win the title because I just didn't I didn't need to see Drew McIntyre lose another match. That's all. That's all I wanted. If you were gonna do this, put the belt on him because guess what? He don't need to be losing constantly. You know what I'm saying? We don't need to be putting him in that losing position constantly. That's why I felt that way. I ain't really feel that way because Cody Rhodes was losing his popularity. I just felt like Drew didn't need to lose another match to Cody Rhodes. He just
Hell,
didn't need to do that.
hell, some people even wonder why Drew was even in this match. Really, a lot of people were kind of wondering that. Well, I said, well, Cody Rhodes is in the match, so
Yeah.
I was like, kind of, I guess it continues it because a lot of people already question the people in this match, anyways. In this, because brought this up before, a lot of these people are just gonna disappear right after this for another few months until like the Rumble or something. Okay, like they're just here, and then like you said, Roman's had like 20 returns already. So it was like, is he gonna be gone again after this? And Brock is like, yeah, he's here right now, but he's just gonna, disappear then right after. And it was like when I was kind of continuing saying, once they had Roman come out and everything, they had him and Brock go at it, and Roman just starts Superman punching him all over the place until Brock got him and like threw him onto the announce table, then putting him through there with an F5. And then like he threw Roman in the cage. Then so now the War Games match finally began. He hit another F5 and tried to pin him, but Cody broke it up. And then we got like finishers like Punk hit the GTS, and then Cody hit the Crossroads, and they both tried to cover Brock, but Logan jumps in, and then Heyman put in the brass knuckles then, but Roman speared him, and then he got the brass knuckles and started doing Superman punches on like Reed and Logan and McIntyre out there and stuff. And then Breaker, he starts lowering the straps, raising the straps, lowering the straps, raising the straps several times. And then Roman spears him, and then we got a table in there then. And Brock tried to go for an F5 on Jay because Jay tried to pick up Brock so he can position to get speared, but like Lesnar picked him up and Roman ended up spearing Lesnar through the table while holding Jay Uso in. And then like Jimmy helped Roman up right after, and then Breaker ended up spearing Jay, and then I think the camera crew missed Breaker spearing Roman and whatnot. And then like Breaker went for Cody and he says like you'll like the Steiners are better than the Rhodes, or he said something like that. And then he speared him, and then he went to go spear Punk, but I think Punk got out of it. And he moved in, then he like a GTS on the Logan. It was still another 2 count, and then next thing you know, a random person got in the ring, all black with a hoodie. You couldn't see his face, who got in the ring. He jumped into the, over the cage and stuff. Looked at both Punk and Breaker as they looked at the guy, and then next thing you know, the guy ended up super kicking Punk and then hit him with a curb stomp, which people think was Seth Rollins, which I don't think it is, and I'm gonna get to who I think it is in a second. But right after that, Breaker ended up raising and lowering the straps and raising the straps again, and he speared Punk and won the War Games match. And then as the heels celebrated, which I thought was kind of funny and whatnot, as the heels are like celebrating even out the ring, you can see Brock shaking hands with fans. Then I'm like, isn't this guy a heel? Like he's just shaking his hands with the kids and shaking hands with the
Hey,
fans out there.
I came to the conclusion. Brock just does what the hell Brock wants to do. He don't give two hells for what the storyline is. Who he don't care what's going on. He's just there to get paid, and that's it. Fuck whatever going on around him.
He's just there to get paid, and he did his job, and he just doing. I'm like, he's a heel, but he's shaking hands with the fans and the kids, and just like damn, just celebrate. I'm like, dude, aren't you guys supposed to be the heels? And it's like the heels was walking away. Then Reigns went over to Punk and helped him up and fist bumped him. But then he looked at Cody and he told Cody, This is the last time we will ever team again. Just know that. And then Reigns walked away as the show went off the air. So get ready for Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes again soon, folks. It's probably going to be for the WWE title, which I'm already seeing people saying they need to put the belt back on Roman again. And as for the mystery person, I'm sure everybody either thinks it's Austin Theory, or if I want to take a shot in the dark with this, I'm going to say Montez Ford.
Man,
Thoughts on all of this?
thoughts on all of this. Man, right. Like I was saying about the war game, like I was saying about the War Games women match. This match that needs to happen. Not at all. Yeah, I was like, man, Punk and Heyman, Punk versus Heyman needs to end soon. Roman fourth return this year. At least the heel got the advantage this time. You know, that made sense.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Before you continue, they said like it's kind of funny. Roman is now, respected and shaking hands with Punk, even though he fought this guy like 6 months ago at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I know. Roman character is funny to me. It's like he one of the only guys that could get away with still acting like a heel and still get cheered. Like at least so cold when he made that transition from heel to babyface. You could tell that he was a heel. I mean, you could tell that he was a baby face. You get what I'm saying? Like you definitely knew that Stone Cold was a baby face. You know, yeah, after a while, like with Roman, you still on the fence. Like, is this guy a baby face or is he a heel? What is he? You just don't know because he's still acting like the same character for
Shaggy
the
told me that too.
tribal chief era. You get what I'm saying? Like you don't know if he a heel or not. Yeah, he get a cheer like a baby face, but he still acting like a heel. Um, Cody was just Cody was just thrown in this. Like real talk. That's how I really felt. Like everybody else at least have beef with each other a little bit. Like Jay still had beef with Braun and Bronson. Jimmy there to help Jay, so it made sense. You know what I'm saying? Jimmy there to help Jay. That's his brother, so that to even up the odds. Punk is still feuding uh with Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, and Paul Heyman, so it made sense. So who else I could say that made sense in this match? Cause Drew didn't make sense. Cody didn't make sense. Brock didn't make sense. Roman didn't make sense. Damn, that's half of the people in this match who didn't make sense. Shit.
Star power.
You're right, star power,
It's
star
what I
power.
said at the beginning of this whole thing. You got to put stars in.
You're right, and so we just gonna squeeze them. We gonna squeeze them in, no matter how nonsensical it is. And it's like, all right, cool, whatever.
Cody
Um,
was very random to me when he just came out on that Raw. I was like, why is Cody involved in this? Because he wore his own jacket with like war camo on there. Like Cody really was random when he got into this. I don't know how Cody got into this match. It's like he was just there because. And like I said, we had both the WWE and World Champion, and I was almost surprising like the World Champion was pinned, which obviously it's gonna be Punk versus Breaker, I guess, at some point also. But were you surprised
yeah,
that Punk took the pinfall?
no, I wasn't. And once I saw who took the pinfall, I hate to bring up other people podcasts and agree, but I do agree with Jim with he was reviewing this, not reviewing this, is with his preview. He was like, Jimmy didn't need to take the pin because he go forever look like a lackey if he take this pin. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, he was just there to take the pin. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
Yeah.
did agree with that. You know, Jimmy didn't needs to take the pin. Um, Jay didn't need to take the pin. Um, Cody wasn't gonna take the pin. It was a lot of other people that wasn't gonna take that pin. So CM Punk it kind of made sense because, like you said, it's gonna be Braun Breaker versus CM Punk one of these days. You know what I'm saying? Probably at the Rumble, and at the same time, it's like he still has some help. before he with the Spirit Punk and you know and ended the match. So I didn't mind. I didn't mind because guess what? We looking at the next world champion. You know what
Oh
I'm
yeah,
saying?
it's gonna happen sooner or
So,
later.
yeah.
Uh,
So
th th yeah, it's gonna happen. Thoughts on the mystery person? Who do you think it is?
um, shit. I want to say Austin because of the build, like, but at the same time, it's like they hit it that very well, with the all black, So you know, I can't pinpoint it, Bryce. I can't pinpoint. I don't. They got me. I don't
I'll say this.
know.
I still think it's Theory, but if I had to take a shot in the dark, I'm gonna say Montez Ford. I don't
Oh,
know why. Just the way that super kick looked. You don't see Theory do a lot of super kicks.
right, right, right.
Montez does super kick, and the way the style of it was, how he did it, that looked like his super kick, and how
True.
athletic he got into the cage, also too, how he jumped in there.
Oh,
So,
I understand what you're saying.
kind of think
Uh,
about that for a second. So it could be one of them. But listen, I'm gonna assume Roman will disappear again until like the Rumble and go back after Cody Rhodes. Because, like you
I want to
said,
say one thing.
go
I
ahead.
want to. I want to go back to what you were saying about the star power between Cody, Roman, Punk, Brock, and he felt like he was like fourth tier. And only reason why I feel that it made him feel that way is that feud against John Cena didn't help him really. It didn't help him. And it kind of made him lesser than with doing the stuff that he was doing. Like remember that he didn't want to hit John Cena, with the belt at WrestleMania. That really put a damper on his character. Even though he kind of recovered, we see that he kind of recovered and character wise, but that really put a damper on that character because all the people that we talked about, Roman, Punk, who else we talk about, Brock. What do they all got in common, Bryce? What do they all have in common character wise that Cody don't have?
That killer instinct.
Bingo, bing, bing, you got it. You got it. You hit it right on the money. It's a killer instinct. It's to pull the trigger. I don't care who is in my way. If you is in my way of my goal, I'm gonna bowl you over. That's it. That's all. But Cody don't have it, Bryce, and that's what it is. That's what it is, and that's and see. You could be a you could be a good guy. Don't get me wrong. You could be a good guy, but we, us, the fans nowadays, especially, we understand nuances. We understand some things are not black and white. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's a bit of gray in there, and we don't mind you playing with that gray area with a character. We don't mind you doing that. It's not gonna hurt that character if he decided, man, this heel been dicking me over for the past few weeks. I'm gonna bash his head in with this title belt because he been dicking me over for the past 3 or 4 weeks now. It's not gonna hurt that man character, man. It's not. That's what hurt Cody. That's what hurt Cody. Cody is too much of that goody two shoe. Even though they
White
tried
meat
their
baby
best.
face.
Yeah, he is, and they tried to get him that little edge. Like remember, he stood up on the table after who he faced. It was a couple of weeks ago. I
But
forgot
he
who.
came back in because they beat him up early, but he came back to help
Yeah,
Mello win
yeah,
that match, and he said like War Games is my birthright.
yeah.
Like
They
Paul, you build him up, I knock him down.
yeah that promo. Yeah, that promo right there. They try to give him the little edge, and you could tell the crowd was like, this ain't you.
Oh,
Just say
oh.
you could tell the crowd was like they were with him, but you could definitely tell like no, this not you. This the same man who didn't want to hit John Cena with the title belt. Now you over here talking shit. You're like that's how they look at him, and that's really hurt him. I think now now that ever, Cody needs to take a back seat. Not take a back seat, but take a vacation.
Well, he did
Real
that
time.
after WrestleMania.
No, a real vacation, a real one. At least a year.
Should they put the belt back on Roman?
Nah, find somebody else on SmackDown.
I'd
Real
say
talk.
Drew, but they keep beating Drew.
Right there we go. And then go back to Drew and see Drew. The only reason I wanted him to become WWE champion because I want to still see Drew as a main eventer. But you go keep on getting him. You go keep on beating him um, you know, by beating him by putting him in a match with Cody, I know, you go take the star power off of him, and you really don't want to do that. So Drew definitely definitely can be the WWE champion. He can. He definitely get him that chance.
You know,
We don't.
Shaggy,
What Jackie say?
like, he told me it's like when he lost back at Saturday's main event, it's like he's like a version of Ziggler in a way.
Yeah,
Nemeth, like he's Triple H's version of Ziggler, the guy that, it's kind of up there, but they can't never give him the big one all the way. He's so good, but he keeps losing.
but you don't want to do that with Drew because Drew actually, like, I could actually see Drew as a true true big man main eventer that a lot of baby faces have to overcome. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's like I, I just don't see why the reason why we couldn't put that belt on Drew at Saturday Night Main Event. I don't see the reason why.
And some people believe he's been cooled off a little, even after his whole feud with Punk. He was kind of a little bit cooled off.
Yeah, he was cooled off, but you could have heated him back up because he was there. He was at that middle ground. He was cooled off, but you still saw him as the main eventer after. Yes, even after that feud with CM Punk, it didn't really hurt him. We knew that feud was designed for CM Punk. It wasn't designed for Drew McIntyre. It was only designed for CM Punk. So he did his job, and I liked it that. You know what I'm saying? So I really understood that.
And it helped him a lot. So that really did help him. And I'll say this too. One other thing. Well, shit, you talk about putting the belt on Drew. Should they put the belt on Brock then?
How many times we gonna see Brock?
Well, shit. Some people say after he mollywhopped Cena all over the place. I'm like, this guy should be be going for the WWE Championship again after that.
hey, 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 yeah, hey. I can't argue back with that because he that was in a dominant fashion. So hey, I can't argue back with that. But they do got a point.
Like just destroyed him. It's like we said earlier. Like, after that, because after this match, everybody in here, a lot of it was just nonsensical how they brought everybody into this War Games match. Like you said, oh, Roman's back, Brock's back, let's throw him in there because, star power.
Yeah.
So that's my whole thing about it. Overall thought about this whole pay-per-view, because I don't think this was really good at all. This was not, I felt like it was a lack of build in a lot of this. The show wasn't really good. And it was like 4 matches, and somehow they can still stretch this as almost a 9:30.
Yeah, so when you have a lot of when you have like
Ads.
5,000 ads, of course you could stretch it to nine, past 9 o'clock. But here's the thing though, Bryce, it wasn't good. It felt rushed. It felt it's just it felt like it was just there to be there because we got War Games, we got Survivor Series in November, we gotta have it. And yeah, I did like it. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't feeling it. I I was mad that I was like, man, dang, this pay per view I choose to come back.
I'll go out on a limb and even say Blood and Guts was better with this. I know with AEW, and like I said earlier, yeah, it's a lot of some ridiculous spots in it, but man, and like I think we even said this earlier, I'll say this too. Nobody really bled in these matches. I'll give this like even in the main event, they didn't use as much weapons, and like everybody came out with a individual weapon and everything. But a lot of people say I feel like maybe like Punk was the only one that bled. Think it should have been more blood. Not to overdo it, but in this type of structure and match, should there have been blood, more blood?
um, I yes with the men. If you saved it for especially for the women, and you made sure the women did do it, I think you could have got away with another person get it juice. Real talk. Another baby face or another heel could have did it. I think you could have got away with at least two or three people bleeding. Real talk.
And I'll say this with WWE and AEW's versions of it. It's like some feel like with WWE, it's more to stay on the safe side, keep it clean and stuff. And then AEW is like, let's throw everything in the book to make this like this. I don't know, I want to say ECW or some type of indie level type of thing. Because a lot of that stuff you see with AEW with the weapons. And I'm not going to get into the multiple DQ matches almost every week in the past 3 weeks right now. That's a different story for another time. But, we see how much they do over there when it comes to the crazy weapons and like I said earlier with ridiculous stuff like the bed and nails and all that. But at least you could say they kind of fit up to the name of Blood and Guts because they made it as much chaos as they could out of it.
Yeah,
Like would like I said, this is their version of it.
yeah, I definitely agree. Even though I didn't see Blood and Guts, but I definitely agree that they are willing to put in that work to say, hey, that's Blood and Guts, and we're gonna and we're gonna live up to the name. Which war game is? It's not war. It's no war. Nobody, like I said, you probably had a few beef, and that was mostly a Raw. Yeah, it was like a Raw storyline in this War Games match. You know, Punk feuded with Paul Heyman crew. Jay Uso was feuded with Paul Heyman crew. Jimmy came to help Jay. They were mostly like a Raw storyline. They just threw in Cody and Brock and Roman just for the hell of it because we needed stars. It didn't feel like a war. You know what I'm saying? It didn't
Yeah,
feel like, oh man, I hate you, and this the only way we gonna this the only way we gonna solve our problems. It didn't feel like that.
it didn't. I'll say this like hell, we thought Jay he was already teasing trying to turn heel. That didn't happen. I thought Roman had said before, like, I don't want to see you Usos till Christmas. I thought you didn't want to see them till then. He's like, you're like, we won't eat at Thanksgiving. I'll see you Christmas, but no Thanksgiving. Like, I'll see you in the next few months. But he came for this because it's his investment with the Usos. So there was no type of turn on that or anything. It was just kind of business and yeeting like usual. But no, I don't think a lot of this was good. I don't think a lot of this show was not good, just from the War Games matches themselves. Like I said, like really a lot of nonsensical storylining and just adding. We needed star power. A lot of this was on Raw, wasn't even needed. It makes you miss the actual 5-on-5 Survivor Series matches. It's better because like we're just throwing that on SmackDown now. The Cena Dominic stuff, like we've already went to how a lot of that was pretty ridiculous, and a lot of the story behind that and how that doesn't make sense. And I didn't really care much for Stephanie and Nikki Bella in general. Like Stephanie won, and you could tell, like I said, the crowd was pretty dead for that too. So it's like I said, they just relied a lot on star power, and a lot of these people were really added into this match, and almost like what 2 weeks before the show. Like you said, a lot of these, some of these matches, it wasn't needed. It just happened because it happened. and it's because it was in a damn baseball field. And I'll say his last thing too, like after ending this, because even with Cena out there, like man, he had nobody for backup. Where was Rey Mysterio at? Where was AJ Styles and Phoenix? Weren't they feuding with the Judgment Day? Like, wasn't Rey just tagging with Cena like a couple weeks ago? Like, somebody said he may have been in some AAA show. I don't know how if I can confirm that, but I kind of wonder, like, damn, Cena had no faces to come help him, huh?
You're right. I did. I did. You just make me maybe think about that. Like, whoa, Cena didn't have nobody to come help him out at all. Man, that is true. What was that all about?
Dude, you tag with Rey Mysterio. I know Sheamus is hurt, so I understand that, but like, dude, did you like tag with Rey Mysterio like a few weeks ago? And AJ Styles and Phoenix was feuding with the Judgment Day, or no backup. And like I said, we have to add also, I was a Liv Morgan return too, so I can't forget about that. But no, the show wasn't good. No, the show was not good at all. It sucked, really. It was just stuff that either didn't make sense, and it goes back to the star power. So nah, this was not it. This definitely was not it. Like I said, it was a rush pay-per-view so we could sell out a baseball stadium.
Yeah, most definitely it was a rush, and it felt just like that. A rush pay per view so we can sell out a baseball stadium. We needed star power to help sell out this baseball stadium. Cause guess what? I don't think anybody wanted to see another War Games match. And like you said, the rest of the card was just there. Other than John Cena, everybody wanted to see him for his last pay per view match.
Yeah,
Um,
and a lot of people think like, man, who would have thought? Like, man, it was Dominic. That's his final pay-per-view opponent.
right, Dominick Mysterio. Nobody would have thought that. That's so crazy. And like, yeah,
People still think Edge was gonna happen.
and
It wasn't, but no, this was not good. Like it really wasn't. Like this was not good at all. So yeah, like I said, it's just like I said, it's just with star power and everything. And they had to, San Diego, because you gotta start jacking it, jacking it, jacking it, jack, spanking it, spanking it, spanking it, smack, whacking it, whacking it, whacking it, whack, jacking it. Okay, then I'm done. But no, this show was not good though. So next time we will come back for this is John Cena's last match is Saturday night's main event. Almost kind of crazy. His last match is even on pay-per-view in a way too, but it's on Saturday night's main event of all things. So we will come back to talk about that because it's going to be a lot to say about this coming up. It really is going to be. And even somebody told me this might as well be an exhibition match, basically, for his final match. Whoever he's
yeah.
going to face. Which 9 times out of 10 will probably be Gunther.
It's so crazy, man. This is so crazy, like how we got to this point now. Like we got to this last match and we didn't enjoy none of this run.
I'll say this too. It didn't even feel. It almost felt like it's not a final. I think we talked about this. Make this the last thing. It's like it is his final run, but it doesn't really feel like it is all the way. It just kind of feels like business as usual to some extent. Like it's almost like I never had the feeling of like, well, you'll probably feel like that once we get to the end, but a lot of this it just did never really felt like it half the time, and just the whole heel thing and the face turn and just how this whole thing was, and the Rock and Triple H booking. Like we'll have more to say about this in the end and everything that went on, but this has just been so convoluted and abysmal. Like, when we get to it, we'll get to it. But this just adds on another chapter to it with this match we saw in this pay per view. But yeah, anything else you want to say before we get up out of here?
Um, nah, nothing else. Follow me, straight face 40. Um, that's that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, same here. Follow me on Twitter, Hooded Knight 890. And yeah, we'll be back in the next few weeks for the next show. So we're out of here. We'll see you then. Peace out. And hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving, for the past few days. I almost forgot to say that too. So we out and peace.